Donald Trump is panicking on Thursday morning, and he is behaving like an absolute lunatic. He is threatening to kill Democratic lawmakers. He's threatening to hang Democratic lawmakers for treason. Here's what he's saying. He goes, seditious behavior, punishable by death. This is really bad and dangerous to our country. Their words cannot be allowed to stand. Seditious behavior from traitors. Lock them up. He then reposts a number of extremist terroristic accounts. Hang them. George Washington would hang them. These are traitors. Then Donald Trump posts, it's called seditious behavior at the highest level. Each one of these traitors to our country should be arrested and put on trial. Their words cannot be allowed to stand. We won't have a country anymore. An example must be set. DJT, domestic terrorists. Democrats always causing chaos. I think they need to be charged with sedition. And I guess what Donald Trump is referring to here is that a number of Democratic senators and Congress members who served in the military or in the CIA made a video telling military members, do not follow unlawful orders because you can then be held accountable for war crimes and put on military tribunals if you engage in war crimes. The message was simply, you may not follow unlawful orders. And this follows the news that the main lawyer who represents the United States military in the Caribbean region near the Venezuela and Colombia regions where those war crimes have been taking place, and in the Pacific as well, where over 80 people have been killed by the United States government on those fishing boats. The main lawyer said that it constitutes extrajudicial killings and would constitute war crimes, but that the main military lawyer was overruled by Pam Bondi and the Department of Justice. So just let that sink in right there. Also let it sink in that Donald Trump wants to change the subject away from the release of the Epstein files now that he was forced to sign the bill into law to release the Epstein files. Now he works with Pam Bondi in order to avoid the release of the Epstein files by trying to claim national security exemptions, by trying to claim there's an active investigation going on that he ordered into the Democrats. Therefore, the information cannot be released. So just watch for that. I've been doing a lot of videos showing Pam Bondi already saying, I can't respond. Active investigation in the SDNY in the Southern District of New York Federal Prosecutorial's Office. I can't respond. What Trump also wants to cover up today and why he's saying those things. I mean, he's also an awful, disgusting human being and a criminal, and that's why he's saying those things. But he also wants to distract from the Epstein file release, and he also wants to distract from the horrible unemployment numbers, which just ticked up to 4.4%. The highest since October 2021. So you have surging inflation passing 3% year over year. Unemployment rate surging now to 4.4%. And you look in sectors like manufacturing, transportation, and you're seeing not just recessionary indicators with massive job losses there, but like great recessionary, almost depressionary indicators in those sectors, and especially among young people are getting wiped out in the job market now. 9-10% unemployment, and many suspect that number could go up to as high as 25% soon. So Trump's trying to distract from that. Here's what they were talking about even on Fox this morning. Here, play this clip.
So it comes on the heels of brand new Fox News polls that reveal Americans are hurting financially. Only 25% saying they're currently satisfied with the U.S. economy.
And part of that is because of inflation. We also went through this big shutdown. More than 50% of Americans say that inflation is completely out of control.
Yep. So who's to blame? Our polling shows 46% of Americans think they've been hurt by President Trump's economic policies.
Now, the U.S. Labor Secretary Lori Chavez DeRemer issued a statement saying, U.S. manufacturing numbers are not where we want them to be. Really? Because you all promised that on day one, you were going to make everything incredible. There was actually in terms of manufacturing and construction, a boom under former President Biden. But maybe, just maybe, when Donald Trump declared a trade war against the entire world and the world retaliated against the United States, and then Donald Trump attacked different industries in the United States because he said, solar is woke and wind is woke and this is woke and that, and maybe also the uncertainty as a result of his policies and him waking up and saying, kill the Democrats, do 25% more tariffs because you made me upset based on your commercial. Maybe that has an impact on business. Just maybe the uncertainty is crippling to businesses. Well, here's what J.D. Vance had to say about the economy. He goes, I think it's going great, but we're just going to have to ask the American people to be a little bit more patient. Here, play this clip.
And even though we've made incredible progress, we understand that there's a lot more work to do. And the thing that I'd ask for the American people is a little bit of patience.
All right, well, JD, this is part of JD's interview this morning. So tell us about what's your healthcare plan? Do you have a healthcare plan? Because also in the data that we saw from the Fox polls, which I covered earlier this morning, which shows that Donald Trump has record unapproval. He's the least popular ever in a Fox poll. It shows that by and large, by a plus 15 margin, Americans support the Affordable Care Act and they absolutely want the subsidies extended. So, JD, what are you doing there? Play this clip.
What do we do to address healthcare prices and premium prices and so on and so forth? What does that look like? Is it a reconciliation plan? Walk us through what happened.
So what's so crazy about this, Matt, is right before the government shut down, we had a meeting with Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer in the Oval Office.
Is this where they get President Trump gave them the MAGA hats? Yeah.
This is not just that. But the president whispers to one of his personal assistants. They're all very good people. And she kind of runs off. And I think to myself immediately, oh, what the hell have I gotten myself into? And she comes back with 2 Trump 2028 hats to give to Jeffries and Schumer.
You talking about MAGA hats? What the hell? All right, well, why don't we go to Donald Trump's chief propagandist this morning? Caroline Levitt, can you talk to us about what Donald Trump does with world leaders when they arrive in the Oval Office? Here, play this clip.
The president went, the Syrian president came in and President Trump sprayed perfume all over him. And I just wondered, did he smell?
No. Let me tell you, that happens all the time, not just with the Syrian president, but I've seen it with other foreign leaders. I've seen it with members of our cabinet, myself. He has a cologne and a perfume. Yes. He's just showing off his wonderful scents. He's very generous.
He sprays everybody with cologne and perfume? I mean, do we realize what she's saying? So world leaders show up and he starts taking out cologne and perfume and spraying them. And that's what he does with his staff. So his cabinet members, her ostensibly and others, he just sprays. Like he's like literally a madman. Like he's trying to describe with the accurate words. I did a video on his deteriorating health. He goes around spraying and sniffing people. And that's not me being hyperbolic. I just played for you his press secretary saying he sprays and sniffs people. All right, well, what about the release of the Epstein files? Caroline, here, play this clip.
But if you look at how this Epstein story sort of evolved over the past week, it's classic Washington hoax.
Yes.
And thankfully, Democrats now have young fighters leading the Democratic side of these committees, like the ranking member of the House Oversight Committee, Democratic Congressmember Robert Garcia, who's been doing just an incredible job. Here's his message if the Trump regime thinks they're going to cover up the release of the Epstein files with Pam Bondi. Play this clip.
I want to remind the Attorney General and the public that our subpoena does not have that language. And so if the Attorney General wants to use her sham investigation in the Southern District of New York to withhold evidence and documents on the bill that the president will hopefully just about to sign, she can't do the same for our subpoena. She is still legally obligated, regardless of any investigation, to produce every single document, photo, video, or material that she has in her possession of the DOJ to the Oversight Committee. That's something that we have not talked about a lot in the last few days because our focus is on this bill. But you can believe that in the next few days and weeks ahead, we're going to remind the DOJ that her investigation she might try to use to stop the effort in the full House, she can't use that to stop the effort we have in the Oversight Committee.
I should note this as well. Great article today from the New Republic. Trump's anger over prices goes nuclear as fresh polls show him tanking. As Trump's inflation rants grow more unhinged amid brutal new polls for him, an economic writer explains why Trump is ill-suited for the crisis that might be coming and why the bottom might be about to fall out. Well, it seems like the bottom has fallen out. And let me just give you my summary. This guy in the Oval Office is spraying people with cologne and perfume and sniffing them. I don't think the Mr. Sniffer, I don't think Mr. Sniffer should be in charge of the economy. I don't think the guy who's bankrupted most of his companies, who sniffs people, should be running this economy. I don't think the guy, we did a report on this morning, Trump Media has lost like all of its value. It's now trading at like $10.29, yet another failed company. And remember that like skyrocketed, pump, dump, right? And just screwed so many people's life. When SPACs, special purpose acquisition companies, just first start out, they start trading at $10. So the fact that right now it's at $10 basically shows what an utter freaking failure this thing is and how it just completely tanked. In any event, I mean, he can't run his own companies yet, so he's going to run the country? Everything he does is a failure. Not to mention he's a sexual abuser, and separately, he's a felon. Trump is cratering in 2 new polls. A Mara survey has his approval rating at 39%. A Marquette poll has his overall approval plunging on the economy, 36.64. On tariffs, 37.63. Inflation, 28.72. Yet, for Trump and his advisors, they go, everything is going just great. Finally, even the Fox legal analyst had to respond to Trump's unhinged and psychotic post this morning, calling for Democratic senators and representatives to be executed for posting a video urging service members to obey their oath. Andy McCarthy, this Fox legal analyst, says, there is no insurrection or sedition without the use of force. Disobeying a lawful order is insubordination. Not disobeying a lawful order. Lawful is insubordination, not insurrection or sedition. Disobeying an unlawful order is required. That is all. Disobeying an unlawful order is required. We'll leave you with that. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million, and thanks so much for watching.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.